Hi, welcome to Wrokdown. I'm Wendy Stapleton. In 1977, the Ferrets released their second single called Don't Fall in Love. It was from their debut album Dreams of a Love. It soared up the Australian charts and it stayed at #1 on the countdown charts for forever. I'm particularly happy to have this special guest this evening because without him, I think my career may have taken an entirely different path. So would you please welcome Mr. Billy Miller. Hey, Bill.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you.
Don't thank me. I have to thank you. No, seriously. We might as well get this out of the way. We met when we were kids.
Yep.
And I thought it was at Sebastian's, but a friend evidently said it was at a bus stop.
Yes, that's right. You and two other girls. I remember secondhand.
Yeah.
And you and two other girls, and you were singing quite loud.
As you do at a bus stop.
Yeah, and my mate who had a band at a place called the St James Tavern in the city suggested that, because I was about to do my first gig with him, and suggested you join us. So we did our first gig together.
Do you realise you saved me from a life of feathers and sequins?
Really? I think it would have been Prime Minister. I could just see you out there.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Thank you.
Your jacket's much nicer than Julia's.
Well, it sort of fits in a way, in a funny way, doesn't it? Okay, Bill, for those who don't know, you're a Melbourne boy?
Yep.
You were born in?
Born in Richmond and grew up in Paran. In Alfred Street, Paran, just behind the Alfred Hospital.
Funny about that.
Yeah.
Okay, and as I said, I remember going down there when I was about 15 years old. You have two sisters.
Ham and Jane.
And Kenny, your little brother, and your mum Gwen was always there keeping us out of trouble or in trouble.
Well, out of trouble. Mum was the organist at the Methodist Church, so they got a lot of good hymns, as you know, those Methodists, Wesley. A lot of good G, D, E minor hymns, and so from that, we got our music.
Now, Jane and Pam are younger than yourself.
Yeah.
But I remember when I went to your place, the house was full of music. You were always singing. Your sisters. Kenny was a little bit younger, wasn't he? He was a little boy at the time, and so he wasn't sort of so much joining in. But there was always music around your house. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. And I remember, Molly lived near you.
Molly moved in to be near us. Yeah.
Did you know him when? Why are you laughing?
Well, he did.
You say it as if he moved in and never moved out.
Well, he was the one who said, he said, you've got to get the girls in the band, because like you, he came round for a Sunday lunch or something, and we were singing around the piano, like I said, and he immediately said, the girls have got to be in the band. And the two other blokes in the band started, we're not having girls in the band. But no, they joined. It was great. It was sort of, I don't know if we were the first one to have two girls in the band, but...
Well, it was quite unique because I always remember the fact that, as you said, everyone around the piano all singing, and I couldn't imagine you playing anywhere without the girls in the band. Of course, I sang with you before the girls were old enough to go out and do some work, and some great musos that you were hanging around with. I think there was Manny Padarakis, who... a lot of people back then. Manny was sort of like
went on and
king
played,
of the turf, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played with Captain Matchbox and Mike Rudd and lots of people, and Broderick's big combo and that. So he was about 6 years older, so that's consequently why he gave us our first go at that place. Yeah.
So you played around. I remember us doing a few gigs for your beloved St Kilda Football Club as well.
Yeah, well, see, I took my tape, our demo tape, to Molly for 3 reasons. One was he produced the real thing. The second one was he loved the Beatles, and the third one was he's a mad St Kilda supporter like all of us. So, so a lot of St Kilda stuff came out of that. Yeah.
Then, I'm forgetting what year it was, but you may remember, Bill. I remember speaking to you and you said, I'm going for an audition for Jesus Christ Superstar, and you said I should come along
Yeah.
But somehow I met someone at St James Tavern and decided to stay in my little trio.
You got in for sure too. But that was 72. That was up in Sydney, yeah. And it was at the Capitol Theatre.
Did you audition in Melbourne or did you have to go up to Sydney?
I went up there, yeah. And I got in, only lasted 15 seconds. I sang Southern Man by Neil Young, and I'd got halfway into the first chorus and he said, the musical director said, "Okay, stop." He said, "Can you clap this rhythm?" It was 5/4, you know, and clap this rhythm, and it was 7/4 because there's a couple of songs in it like that. And I did that and he said, "Okay, you're in."
Bad luck if he couldn't clap.
I know. Well, if you had the clap. But the funny, I've got to tell you, there was this, I don't know if you've heard of Phil Hobbins, who was a great singer, blues singer from Melbourne. He was after me at this audition. And all the people that did auditions, mostly it was all the girls brought sheet music and the piano player played Moon River or something like that. And but this bloke that was after me, Phil, he had he looked like an apostle, so you'd think he'd go. So he had a big beard, long hair like that. He said, the piano player said, "Okay, Phil, what are you going to sing?" And he said, "Play a blues, you know." So he starts going, ding, 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 ding. Phil's going, "Oh, baby, do. He gets to the end of the first verse and he pulls out a harp. Starts going, woo, and the musical director's going, "Stop! Stop. You're in! You're in! Just stop!"
That's fantastic because you can imagine how many, you'd know probably, how many people went for the audition?
Oh.
Hundreds?
Yeah, there was 30 or something the day I went, but yeah.
Oh, there would have been probably weeks and weeks of auditions.
Yeah.
But so you found yourself in this amazing show.
Yes.
With probably quite an eclectic assortment of people. Tell us about the first sort of cast.
Okay, well...
who you remember?
Well, there was Stevie Wright, John Paul Young, John English, Trevor White, Marcia Hines, and a few others. Rory O'Donoghue from Auntie Jackie was in it. So, yeah, it was... But at that stage, none of them... maybe... Stevie had been famous.
Jesus Christ Superstar, how long did you stay in that?
2 or 3 years. We came down to Melbourne. We did Sydney for 6 months or so. Went really well up there. Then we came down to the Palais here. And then we went back up to Sydney we were down here for 6 months. I got into trouble for listening to the Saints on my tranny.
On stage?
Yeah, I was one of the lepers, right? In one scene. I was an apostle, but you did lots of other things as well.
You were a leper.
I was a leper. I was supposed to be dead on the floor.
Okay.
And Marcia walks...
With any missing limbs?
Well, we're supposed to be blind and deaf and all that stuff and missing limbs. And Marcia walks through us when she's singing "I Don't Know How to Love Him." And I'm laying on the floor and listening to St Kilda Collingwood or something. And we kicked the goal and I went, "You'll be okay." Yeah, I got into trouble for that. Oh dear.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah.
Only because I know you so well, I just know you're telling the truth. It's terrible. Well, at least you only got into trouble and not fired.
Yeah, well, look, it's their fault. If they're going to have matinees on Saturday afternoon while the footy's on, they can just put up with it.
We're going to take a short break and be back soon with Billy Miller.
Wrokdown.
Okay, well then, let's talk about after Superstar.
Yeah.
As you said, that kicked a lot of people's careers off.
Oh, yeah.
Did it kick your career off in as much as having a foot in the door with record companies, or did you sort of leave the show and then just go back to your bands?
Yeah, not really. I left the show and we were living in Manly and we started a band called the Rocking Ferrets in 1973 and 1974, yeah. And Ken Firth, who was the bass player from the Superstar Orchestra, he was in a band called Tully.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Him and I started this band and we got not really through Superstar, we got Double J, it was called then, not Triple J.
Radio, yeah.
It was 2 Double J. They offered us a, 8-hour recording session in their studio. So we went and did that and did basically the tracks for the Ferrets album. And I took that and they played it on Double J for a show. But that's what I took to Molly the next year as a demo tape. And then it all kicked off from there. And you know what Molly's like. One of the songs was really... There were a couple of 6-minute songs on that album, and one was very, emotional, and it sucked him in because a friend of his had died in a car accident or something, and I don't know, but he just loved it straight away and just got straight on the phone to Michael Gudinski and said, "You've got to sign this band." Mixed up.
So, where did you record that in Melbourne?
The
album?
The album?
Oh, no,
Dreams of a Love album. Yeah, we recorded it, what was it called then, Armstrong's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big one.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, Armstrong's.
Took 18 months. He'd have to go over and, because he's doing Countdown, he'd have to go and spend 2 weeks with Elton and all these people and do interviews. So, plus we had the National Boys Choir and the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra on a few tracks. So it's not like... it's funny, Supernaut were doing their song at the same time and they did 2 tracks in like 4 hours in there, but yeah, it took us a long time.
But it was worth it because you had your first single out. Did that sort of got a bit of play?
The first single was like a, what do you call it, a pseudo, it was just to come out because the album was taking that long. So the first single we did was Robin Hood. Robin Hood! We did a version of the TV show.
I thought you were going to start singing Robin Hood, Robin Hood.
No, we did it Robin. Yeah, that song.
Oh, is that song?
Yeah, it's that song, but we did it.
You are
Robin.
You're a nut, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a nut. And they took us up to the hills to give us riding lessons and archery lessons.
Stop it!
They did, and one of their cameramen fell out of a tree and broke his shoulder. So yeah, we're all riding horses and all that. So they did quite a big film clip for that. Sold 38 copies.
Stop.
But it sort of bided the time for when the main single had come out.
That literally just took off, didn't it?
And it was funny because it wasn't meant to be a single or anything. It was meant to be the B-side. Molly wasn't here at that session. There was a song called Lies that was going to be the A-side, and they said, we need a song for a B-side. And we went in, it had just been written by Ken Firth, the bass player, the week before. It took us 3 hours to record it, and we were mixing it like we had an hour to mix it, and Molly came in then and he started, his jaw started dropping because we just think we're doing a B-side, we don't know it's any good. And he's going, no, bring up the maracas, what is this? We're going, it's just the B-side. And he said, this is a hit. We're going, you're joking, aren't you? Yeah,
so you had no idea?
No. So... it really only took a few hours, that song. It's weird. We immediately went into a tour with Blondie.
How was that?
Oh, that was wild. It was fabulous. By the way, we were knocked off, the Ferrets were knocked off by Ain't Gonna Bump No More with No Big Fat Woman.
And right.
Remember that?
So, yeah.
Joe Tex.
I do.
Great.
Ain't gonna bump no more
with no big fat woman. Yeah.
It's sad that we remember it, really, isn't
I
it?
know. But, so the Blondie tour, that was great. And they were just like us, rat bags from the street.
Okay, so we'll probably have to take a break here, and we'll be back very, very shortly to hear about what you did after that, because I know you've done so many different things, and also what you're up to now.
Yeah.
Be back soon.
Wrokdown.
Soozie, darling.
Hi, I'm Soozie Pinder. Miss Chrissy and I were out and about for Wrokdown TV, And we wandered over to the Caravan Music Club with spunky Kevin Borich was there. Yeah, he had the shirt open. He was looking good. Crowd full of chicks, everyone looking at him. Harry Bruce was thumping away on bass, and man can he played bass. And the drummer's drumming away. Fling, along comes the drumstick, smacked Miss Chrissy in the head. Miss Chrissy picked it up and we took it and got it autographed. Anyway, we wandered out the back and yeah, we got Mr. Kevin himself to do the skinhead dance. So have a look at this.
Here we are. Hellbound 3.
Hey, this is Soozie at the Caravan Club.
The sun's coming up over the hill. Oh.
This is Soozie for Wrokdown TV and I'm at the Caravan Music Club with the handsome Kevin Borich. How are you, Kev?
Handsome. I mean, no. I'm fine, darling. I was just at a gig.
Just at a
I'm
gig.
a bit worn, you know, a little worn.
Well, you know.
A bit of energy has deflated in me a little bit. I'm shrinking as we speak. No, I'm okay.
I would be exhausted if
I'm
I
all right.
did what you did.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh,
we tore
okay.
up the dance floor and we were exhausted.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I like when people dance. It makes me feel like I'm working good.
Working? Well, my ears are still ringing from the St Andrew's pub when you played out there last November.
Really?
Really.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Well, it's cool. You can get transplants and things.
So have we got any new music that we can look forward to?
Yeah, we're working on an album. It's been a long time coming, but I've started one before I had the cancer, and I've just got a few almost finished from that era, and then we've sort of added a lot of new ones. So working on it.
So the song that you wrote when you came back from cancer, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a bit angry, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be angry too.
How dare it attack me?
Yeah, how dare it? You kicked the shit out of it.
Yeah, but it was kind of... that's the first thing I wrote. Picked up the guitar. My son Lucius had been up and he'd left it in drop D, so it sounded really tough and scary. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll marry it with a good cause.
We've got everyone watching us, and I was wondering, I usually finish these 5 minutes with Soozie with the, I teach you to do a certain dance, and you might have seen us do it out there, and I'm wondering if I could teach you to do this dance. No one said no yet. Like this?
Oh, it's this one.
This one. Oh, mate. Now this, a bit of this. Go on, you got to do this one. This. And now the wall. This down. Cool. After the Ferrets split up,
Yeah.
I know for a fact that you had the good guys, or the good blokes, the great blokes.
Thank you. Third time lucky. Hooray!
Well, give me a minute.
well,
give me a minute.
It was
the great blokes.
The great blokes, yes.
And
the Spaniards.
the Spaniards, of course.
With Mick Peeling.
With Mick Peeling.
Yeah.
So I know that you actually sort of still do gigs with a lot of the guys. Who have
Yeah.
you been working with lately? Mickey?
Yeah, I haven't done much with Mickey lately. I've done a lot with Stephen Cummings.
How's Steve?
Good.
Good.
And I did a lot with Dave Graney. I was working in advertising production house doing TV commercials, and Dave came in and I was working with Andrew Duffield from the Models.
Models, yeah.
And
That was a huge agency too, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
Was it called
Duffield Canahan.
Duffield Canahan, and
Yeah, right through the 90s.
right through the
early
90s, and
2000s,
that was a
I worked
wonderful, sort of a great thing to get into, because a
Yeah.
lot of people, I started out doing sessions before I went back to front.
there. You went the other way, yeah?
From you, I started out doing that and then signed up to Mushroom. But it was one of those funny things where I'm a bit embarrassed to sort of admit that I thought it, but most people thought if you were in a rock band,
Yeah.
you couldn't be a studio musician. So they basically thought that you were two different creatures,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah. Well,
and then,
yeah.
well, that was the
I'll
way.
give you an example where that is crap.
Please. Oh, I know it. I know it's crap
I know it's
now.
crap too, but have a listen to this one. You know Joe Cocker's Help from My Friends?
Yeah.
Jimmy
You
Page.
wonder why I think he gets hoses and little boxes and things.
Jimmy Page. He's playing guitar on that, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Page played millions of sessions. That sort of didn't really startle me, but the one that startled me was Jimmy Page and John McLaughlin of the John McLaughlin Vision Orchestra were the two guitarists on Petula Clark's Downtown. But I started doing it mainly as a singer, guitarist, but then I started getting into the Pro Tools engineering.
And that was all new.
That was all new.
It was when you could start to do some stuff at home,
And it used to be synced up to 16-track machine, and you'd have the Pro. But in the end, I was doing nearly all I was doing was engineering, sound effects and Ferrets, and because I just became a very fast Pro Tools operator. So it's good. I got my studio at home.
Yeah, you got it at home. And we'll talk about that too, because you've recorded some beautiful albums at home. But just touching back onto, I know it was nothing to do with the advertising, but you also wrote or co-wrote music for Round the Twist.
With Andrew,
Kids show on
I didn't write the music, but I co-produced it.
Produced it. And The Bird. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's one of my sister's best friends, Nicole Ma. She did a film called The Bird about... it was a Chinese film, and that's about all I can remember it, but I did some really good music on that.
But didn't it win an award?
Yeah, it did. And I can't even remember what it was, but it did, yeah. I don't know, I'm hopeless. No, I've done,
You've done very well, Billy.
Stuff. Well, yeah.
So in the last few years, just how many albums? I know that you've had...
I've had 3 solo albums, and I've produced the last 3 Steve Cummings albums at home, and played most of the stuff on them, because he's such a great songwriter and very prolific. So, and I sort of made friends with him on that Countdown Spectacular tour that you were on. Like, that tour was just unbelievable, because we had Keith Lamb, the singer from Hush.
This is the first Countdown reunion. Spectacular, yeah.
And
Hush, that's right, Keith Lamb.
And he was great, because he says funny things to you. Like, first thing he said to me was, "So have you ever eaten any?" "Ferret, have you ever eaten any?"
I really did wonder what you were going to say.
No, he was great.
He was very funny. We had so much fun, didn't we? Your latest project?
My latest project? Well, I've got a band that's been playing at the George Hotel in St Kilda for 9 years.
In Fitzroy Street?
Yeah, in residency on Sunday night.
Okay, and
called the Love Brothers.
The Love Brothers?
But they also call us the Beatles, because we do a lot of Beatles.
Who's
we do
in
a lot
it?
of 60s. Myself, John Annis, who you'd know.
I know Johnny, drummer.
Ken Firth, the Ferrets bass player.
Oh, really?
40
Still got
years
Kenny?
I've been playing with him. And my son, Eddie, for the girls to look at.
Oh, cool.
Because he's really good looking and he's young.
So it's Sunday night?
And he's a great muso too.
Sunday night?
Sunday 7 till 9:30. We've been there 9 years. And through that we get a lot of, corporate and weddings and 40th and 50th. So virtually that's the only live gig we really have to do.
Can you put my name on the door?
You don't have to pay to get in. If you come down, and we have lots of people who
could you
get
put
up.
my name on the door?
Lots of people get up and play with us. We've had Keith Potka get up and play, but it's funny playing in a small place.
Because you're doing Beatles stuff, so it's like...
and Stones and Kinks and Soul
Oh, we'd all
songs.
love that.
Yeah.
We'd love that, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks for asking me.
And we're all going to see you at the George.
You've got it.
Leave my name on the door, even though there's no charge.
Even though there's no charge.
It just makes me feel...
Okay.
Makes me feel really good. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Wendy.
See you next time. Thank you.